Hi everyone, very pleased to show you with a quick overview my new Motu 828ES. So quite pleased to send you feedback on the forum, but helping me. It was about 5 months ago to select the right interface I would like to have in my small home studio. So overall, of course, very pleased, as I said on the forum, with my 828 EAs, very nice for my usage, very good sound quality, very nice features. So what I propose to you, as you can see here on my screen, is to have a brief view of how I'm using that interface. So as you can see here, very straightforward and quite simple. So we have first view here directly in the mixer. So I got my two input for the two micros. One is dynamic, one is a ribbon mic. I use to mic my guitar cab just behind me with two Superlux micros. The third one here is an analog input for my running. It's a Tbone SC400 large membrane macros. So I put it here because I got a tube preamp. It's a TubeMP from Art with a tube inside. So I was pleased to use it because for many years it has been over my desktop unused. So nice opportunity to use it now. That's great. And the sound is pretty good, as you can hear. What's more, I'm getting through my digital audio workstation Reaper to have some basic treatment from my voice on my mic here. So for the next input here, I'm using the SPDIF for my XFX3 guitar modeler. Pretty good too, and totally straightforward and works perfectly well. So that's pretty fine. It's just a little more complicated here, as you can see, because I defined some specific groups to feed in my sub. I've got two subs connected on the two analog output, 10 inches sub and a 12 inches one. As you can see here, I've got my small studio monitors Aries 5, which has 5 inches, and I would like initially to make some slight adjustment. So I will explain that later. I got here my main out monitors to be used for my headphones at least, and for my main mix here I can go, depending of my choice, to my two small Aries E5 just in front of me on some foot at about 30 centimeters up to my desktop, or I can go to my dedicated sound system, which is a flat range full response with two big cab of 12 inches plus 1.5 tweeters that are powered by two power amp dedicated. That was Matrix GM50 power amp in stereo, dedicated to guitar amp and more generally to music. So that's pretty great. And I've got my A and B monitors possibilities, and I can directly switch from one to the other, and that's absolutely perfect with that Motu interface. Okay, so here what I did for my sub is just to have the ability to directly control independently of my monitors the level of my subs that are routed to my two different analog output in stereo. So I can drive the level here because the output level of the Motu 828ES is quite high. I would say it's a very punchy interface with very nice sound. Here I add a group, stereo group for my Aries 5, so my small monitors, because I found to need some adjustment for the top end. A small shelf of 2 dB up to 2200 Hertz. In the same way, I've got here a small correction from the input of my ribbon mic. So concerning my compressors, I got a small compressors on my voice here, very simple, and I wanted to add a small compression too to address directly my sub to give some more punch in the thumb. Okay, when you feel it in your chest, so I quite love it, I must say. So here I'm using the mix-in features of the Motu, very nice. So I had here this strip with a compressor. I can address directly this strip from my Reaper DAW. So typically I'm pushing out from the track where I've got my drums or my backing track, if it's a full backing track in one track in Reaper, directly to this strip here, adding this compressor. And as you can see here, if I'm adding my group send, for this strip, nothing to my Aris 5 and full loaded to the sub strip here. And in addition, I can have a leveler here on my sub, but clearly it's pretty often too much. So just need this compressor here, slight one, not too much, just a little, to have a little more push in the air, and that's pretty much, that's fine. I am defining the level here at -30, as I said, and -25 here. That's largely enough for this strip to send sound to this one, and I've got a very nice and punchy sound from the Motu. So that's absolutely perfect like this. To have a quick look here on our, I would say, graph mixing table here. To show the different connections. Quite straightforward. I'm looking here just to be sure not to make any modification. So one feature very nice in that interface is the ability here, as you can see when I'm talking, to show where is the sound going through. So this is pretty nice. So for my phones here, I've got my monitors levels to my two output phones. The main here. For my power amp, as I say, the Matrix GM40 to my big 12-inch FRFR cab. My Aris small monitor studios, Aris 5 here. On my second out B, pretty straightforward, quite clear. As you can see here, my sub-channel strip can go through two different out for my 10-inch here sub and my 12 inches sub here. Okay, for my SPDIF connection, it's my XFX2 directly here, so nothing special to say. Very important here concerning the system configuration. I've got PC, Windows 10, 64 bits. My processor is a i7 8750K running something around 4.7 gigahertz. And as you can see here, my buffer is 3264 samples, and it's quite good and very robust. And if I'm going into Reaper, as you can see here, I've got a 2.6, so round trip latency or RTL factor of 4.6. So that's really good. And as you can see here, I've got some different instruments, such like Easy Drummer for drums. Okay, I've got here Easy Key running too. I will add some other VSTI for bass guitar. I've got here, okay, very simple, just simple track for backing tracks. Here I've got my XFX, my two mix here from my guitar cab just behind me, as I explained. And here my voice directly from my very nice Tbone SC400. And that's pretty much it. And everything's run really, really nicely from 5 months now. No crash, no bugs, nothing. Nothing bad to say, and pretty pretty amazed with the audio quality, as it has been said on many different reviews. So you got exactly what you bought for. So I'm very pleased and hope it will continue like this. That's perfect. Thank you guys, and thanks for the forum to have some exchange together. And I hope this very short overview can give you some interesting feedback to help your decision, or if you want to exchange through the forum, so feel free.